guys, so I'm a huge Nintendo Switch fan. I just love everything about it. And I want to show off my collection today. Now this will be part one because I have more games pre-ordered. And when those games come in, I'll show you that as the part two and kind of the end of my collection. So there's more games I want to order, more games I have ordered. And when I've completely got them here, I'll show you part two. But this is part one. And we're just going to go through each individual game and kind of show you the types of games I like. You know, I have definitely bought some first party games, some newish games, but I'm a big fan of collections, compilations, a big fan of shoot 'em ups that have been re-released or reported or remastered for the Switch. We'll start out with some shoot 'em ups, but don't think it's the whole video. I'll definitely get to the rest. But anyway, so stay tuned. So we'll start out with the M2 Shot Triggers. They're a company out of Japan that's making awesome ports of really good shoot 'em ups. Wouldn't say this is a really good one, but it's pretty cool. It's called the Tiger Heli collection. It's got several of the games on there from that series. Cool to have. This is the same collection. I know that sounds crazy. Once again by M2 Shot Triggers. The main game on here that most people will recognize came out on the Genesis as Fire Shark. But it has that game and a few more. Cool collection. Esbraid, a cave shooter, redone by M2 Shot Triggers. Really cool to see this. And the last M2 Shot Triggers, the Aleste collection. This is really cool. Really cool to have. Here's a pretty new one I've got, Batsugan. I was absolutely thrilled to see that this game had a release. It's an arcade game that, it was an arcade game that only had a port on Sega Saturn, and that port is very expensive, so it was really cool to see this special edition come out, and it's only like 60 or 70 bucks on PlayAsia. You can get a basic version for Switch or PS4 for even less. So really good shooter. This is from Toaplan before they became Cave, or I mean some of the people became Cave. So this is a really cool special edition. This is the Bullet Soul. It's so big I can't even get on the screen. Bullet Soul and Bullet Soul Infinite Burst. Really cool collection here. These came out on the Japanese Xbox 360, but it's really cool to have this collection here. So far all shooters, but there will be other things, I promise. There's some PlayAsia specials that came out towards the beginning of the Switch's life. Ghostblade HD, Powerumi, and Shikando. These are the limited edition versions. All really cool, especially Ghostblade HD. Psikyo Shooting Collection Alpha and Bravo. This is amazing. It's got games like Zero Gunner 2 and Strikers 1945 and Dragon Blaze and Tin Guy. It's and Gunbird 2. It's an incredible set here. Here's R-Type Final 2. Inaugural Flight Edition. Razion EX Limited Edition. This is a really cool game that was released for the Neo Geo. It has a remake. Love the artwork, it's so cool. And a classic, Ikaruga. This game came out on the Dreamcast and the GameCube. This is a cool version of it. It has, let me this little steel model kit that you can put together if you want. That's really cool. All right, let's finish out the shmups. So here is the Steelbook version of Caladrius. I think it's Caladrius Blaze. Really cool. This game was also on the 360 Japanese version, but really cool to have a Switch release. Jamestown. Now this is a cool game. It's a PC game. I think it came out on Steam and very highly regarded, but it was really cool to see a port by Limited Run. So that's awesome. All right, prepare for shock and awe when it comes to Cotton. So Cotton is a series. Came out on Sega consoles, arcades, different things. Never really played them as a kid, but really cool to see all these ports. Basically, every Cotton game that I know of has got a port, and this one I would say being the best. If I recall, this is a reboot of the X68000 version, which also has the original game on here, but just really cool to have all these Cotton games. Similar to Cotton, you've got Raiden. Similar to Cotton, you have Raiden. Raiden 3, 4, and 5. 4 by far is the best. 4 is really good. 3 is pretty good. 5 I wasn't a huge fan of, but this is like the director's cut. Comes with some extra stuff. And these are versions with a remixed soundtrack as well, but really cool to have these 3 Raiden games. And then, how about some Darius games? Got the Cosmic Collection. This basically has all the arcade games on it. Console Collection, as it would sound, it has all the console games from like Genesis, Super Nintendo, so on and so forth. And then this one's got some of the newer games on here. And these are really good. So it's really cool to see all the Darius series represented on the Switch. Here's one of my newest games, the Telenet Connection. This is, I mean, all Japanese. You can't even, it's, if you turn it on, it's obviously region free, but it's all in Japanese. It's hard to even find your way through the menu. The big one here is it has Gyarados. Gyarados was a phenomenal shoot 'em up on the Sega Genesis. It has Gyarados, Psychic Storm, Avenger, and another one, but having Gyarados is really cool because Gyarados on the Genesis is very expensive. All right, some more Cave Love. This is awesome. Now all these, well, 3 of these games also I have on the Xbox 360, but it's cool to have a port of them on the Switch. Actually, Death Smiles 1 is on the 360, Death Smiles 2 is not. It is on the Japanese 360. You can get it on the Xbox Live Arcade, but to have 1 and 2 physical edition is cool. I already had Akiya Katana and I already had Espeluna 2, but it's really cool to have them on Switch. And then I have Mushihima-sama Futari for the Xbox 360, but not the original Mushihima-sama. So that is really, really cool to have this cave port. Limited Run, of course, got the manual, pretty awesome. Some of these games I haven't played as much. Andro Dunos 2, Cyvarrior Delta, Sinmora EX, Rolling Gunner plus Overpower, so it's got like all the DLC and everything. That is a really fun game. Soul Cresta Dramatic Edition, limited run, pretty cool. So that's awesome. This is an awesome one. Just got Ray's Ray-Z Arcade Chronology. Now this is by M2, not the Shot Triggers branch, but M2. It's got Rayforce, Raystorm, Raystorm HD, and Ray Crisis and Ray Crisis HD. These are some awesome games. I have Rayforce on the Sega Saturn Japanese version. It's called Layer Section in Japan, but really, really outstanding to get all the Rayforce games. This is called the Shmup Collection, came out in Europe. It's got 3 games I'd never heard of: Armed 7, Zadius, and Wolf Flame, and they're all actually pretty cool. And then I guess you could call this a shooter. So if you know the Pocky and Rocky games from the Super Nintendo, they're pretty rare and expensive. This is kind of a sequel that came out on the Switch, and they're kind of shooters. So I've got it with my shooters, but really cool to see that. All right, we're going to get out of the shooters now. We're going to get into some compilation games. Probably pretty obvious, I love the Switch for all the shooters. However, another reason I love them is because like everything has been ported to the Switch from previous generations. The PS4 pretty much got all these too, so either one is good. But for instance, Castlevania and Contra collections. Now this is not 100% of the Castlevania or Contra games, but it's all the classic ones. You know, and it's just really good to see. You know, Super C, original Contra, the Contra 3 Alien Wars, Hardcore from the Genesis, and then Castlevania collection. You know, you've got Castlevania 1, 2, and 3, Super Castlevania, the games on Game Boy and on the Genesis, so just fantastic. Got a lot more compilations. Turtles, the Cowabunga collection. It's got all kinds of awesome old arcade and like NES and Super NES games. Just a ton of old Turtle games. Fantastic. SNK 40th Anniversary Collection. Kunio-kun Collection. A lot of cool games in here you probably don't even realize. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Collection of Mana. I thought that was really cool. So this is really cool to get Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Trials of Mana all together. And before this, Trials of Mana was a Japanese-only Super Famicom game called Seiken Densetsu, and really cool to have that. Really cool games that are kind of a hidden gem is the Turrican series. This has got all of them on there. Fantastic. Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol, 2 games from the Super Nintendo. I actually rented Zombies Ate My Neighbors. It was pretty cool back in the day, so that's cool. We got some old Star Wars games, some Star Wars Racer, Republic Commando, and Jedi Knight 2 and Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. This was a really cool one. It's got Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, the 3D All-Stars collection. You ever played the Blaster Master game on NES? Kind of an independent publishers come out with 3 new games called Blaster Master Zero, and you can get all 3 physically right here on the trilogy. It's awesome. Final Fantasy 7 and 8. I do have the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 Pixel Remaster coming as well. I've ordered that. PlayAsia. We got the Genesis collection, over 50 games. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. It's just got all of them. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Third Strike, Alpha 3. It's just got all the really good Street Fighter games. This I thought was awesome. Mega Man Zero Collection. These games are on the Game Boy Advance, and I think there is, it shows right there. There's 6 games in here. It's really cool. Got the Mega Man X 1 and 2 collection. So this is all the Mega Man X games, 1 through 8. However, unfortunately, I think think 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, or 5, 6, 7, and 8 is only a digital download code. So I got the Japanese version, which is called Rockman X Anniversary Collection 2. This has got the physical on there. And I guess I don't have the original Mega Man games compilation on the Switch at this time. I do have them on other systems. I got Capcom Fighting Collection and Capcom, this is called Belt Action Collection, but it's just basically beat 'em ups. Japanese version was physical. It's got a ton of cool games. Alright, so if that was all the Switch was just old compilations and shoot 'em ups reported to the Switch, I would still absolutely love it. But there is more. Got some new games and some remasters and things. Mega Man 11. That's cool. Streets of Rage 4. So I can show the backs of these. Some Wii U ports. Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. It's got the Luigi game on there too, so it's cool to have those. These were on the Wii U originally, and they ported them over to the Switch. I never owned a Wii U, so I'm glad they did. Fire Emblem Three Houses, really cool. Put a lot of time into this. Smash Brothers Ultimate. It's one of the most incredible games of all time. Just incredible how much content's on here. Luigi's Mansion 3. A remake of the Game Boy game, Link's Awakening. Pretty dang cool. Another Wii U port, Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, which is all new. Cool. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, another incredible game, tons of content. Super Mario Maker 2, insane amounts of content if you go by people's stages that they built online. Pretty incredible. Personal favorite of mine, Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. I know that they talk about the Switch being a bad port, but I had an absolute blast. This probably one of my favorite games on the Switch. Love it. Tanuki Justice. Pretty cool game. Ganryu 2. Agalos. Love putting those pixels, or not pixels. Love those sprites. Love the sprites. Amazing game that finally got a physical release. Cuphead, just unbelievably cool. Kind of a shooter, platformer, just a really cool game. I think everybody knows it, but it's really cool to see a physical release. And of course, this has all the DLC on it. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. This is another just amazing game. It started out with just the original Shovel Knight, and it put like 4 or 5 games on there, but you get them all for free. It's all part of the Kickstarter. Technically, I guess this is a compilation Gunvolt Striker Pack. It's got 2 Gunvolt games on there. Pretty cool. The HD remake of Zelda Skyward Sword. Did some improvements on it as well. You don't have to use motion controls if you don't want. One of the coolest games, I think, Metroid Dread. I'm a big Super Metroid fan. Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission. Love this game. Metroid Dread. This was awesome. See this remake, Chrono Cross. I just wish they would do a Chrono Trigger remake. I do have Mario RPG pre-ordered as well. While I'm telling you about pre-orders, I've got several more shooters pre-ordered from First Press Games, which I call Last Press Games. They're so slow. From Strictly Limited Games, Limited Run, and PlayAsia. So several more games coming, and I'll do an update when I get those. Some remasters, Wild Guns, Reloaded, game from the Super Nintendo. Some games from like the Master System and Genesis era, Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap and Monster Boy the Cursed Kingdom. Actually, pretty cool fighting game. BlazBlue or BlazBlue, Central Fiction, I believe. Pretty fun. Love the anime graphical style, just really awesome. Blade Strangers from Nicalis, kind of has some Nicalis characters in there, including Shovel Knight. It's pretty cool. Dragon Ball Fighter Z. This is a physical release, which is nothing, but Dragon Ball Fighter Z is one of my favorite fighting games of all time. It's incredible. Another fighting game, Under Night In-Birth. Another game I really like, these anime art style. Really cool. Couple racing games, kind of arcade style. Hot Wheels Unleashed and Cruisin' Blast. Love these just over the top arcadey games. A new Ninja Turtle game came out, Shredder's Revenge. It's really cool. I did get this special edition from Japan. Got a ton of content. Really cool to have an old, new beat 'em up Turtles game. One of the first games I got for the Switch. The special edition of Fire Emblem Warriors. Pretty cool game. I've always liked these style games. Haven't actually played this, but I really enjoyed Wii Sports. Just really fun. So I've gotten the Nintendo Sports, the Nintendo Switch Sports game. Octopath Traveler. So I'm interested in Octopath Traveler 2 and Triangle Strategy and some of those games, but I haven't bought them yet. And I'm not positive that I will. But this is a really cool special edition. Whoa, sorry. Really cool special edition. Just nice. And last but not least, Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. This is the Traveler's Guide and the Explorer's Edition. I'm obviously going to get Tears of the Kingdom when it comes out. I'd like to see them do a Tears of the Kingdom Explorer's Edition. This has like a map in there and a bunch of cool stuff. So I'm definitely going to get Tears of the Kingdom. But anyway, so that's the last two. All right, so when I get my last Switch game, I will make another part to this and show you the games that I've bought to complete the collection. Hope you have a great day, and until next time, take care.